They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my people. Yes, you said, Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just Isupk sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage is safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. That was designed fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Backstage.
Yeah, nigga. Fake ass nigga.
You ain't no Israelite, but you a gospelite, bitch.
Fuck you talking about? Hey,
If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga named the Slayer. What you think, boy? You be done to try. Soft coast shit, we bout it. UPK, you solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood, a hood. More than you, bitch. Sharp on shit, I'm bout it. UPK, you
in the game. All right.
Shalom Israel, it's the Isupk Chicago Wednesday night scripture breakdown class. As always, you understand, we might have took a little hiatus last week because we had an eventful week down in Atlanta, Georgia. You understand, under commanding Johnny Yohana, we just had the Lord's 56th annual Passover. You understand, it was a beautiful event. You got to give the shout out to all the brothers in Atlanta for helping set it up. You understand, doing their thing. It was a glorious time, fun, drinks, party, the all-black party. You understand, the Passover itself, the Feast of Leavened Bread. It was just 5 days of full brotherhood, sisterhood in the spirit of the Lord. You understand, everybody probably still hasn't even unpacked yet. I know I have not. You understand, and now we all hurting financially again. Tax money spent, all the good stuff. You know what I mean? But you understand, so what we're gonna do is, if anyone has a question online, make sure to put it in the comments or whatever. We'll get Lord allow, we'll get to it. Classroom questions, you can go ahead and ask your question, even though it is whatever I was technically going to.
Like, if I could, I just want to know, like what scripture could I go to prove, to show Christians that they the pagan holiday Easter was being celebrated before Christ?
Before Christ?
Because you know how they always try to tie this whole Palm Sunday and Easter. They try to tie this all to Christ. Okay.
So first, we want to go to the roots of Easter. You feel my point?
Okay.
So we'll get to the scripture. But before we get into that, let's go and look up the origins of Easter and how it began and how it became what it is today, and when it became intermingled from the origin to Christianity as of now. So IG, if you could get that article, we're going to get into a little bit deep history because no one knows the origins of the things they celebrate in America. We just get told to do it on this date and then we do it. I believe Easter Sunday is this Sunday. This Sunday is Sunday coming up, if I'm not mistaken. You understand? But but like I said before, I ain't gonna rush the scenes. Let's get into it.
That's the Feast of First Fruits.
The Feast of First Fruits. You understand? That's it. The crazy thing is Easter, the white man's society always lands around the time of what we do because we are the ones they ripped it off from. You feel my point? But they just don't know how to read the stars or the generals in UBK. But yeah, feel free.
Come. The ancient pagan origins of Easter. Easter is a festival and holiday celebrated by millions of people around the world who honor the resurrection of Jesus from the dead, described in the New Testament as having occurred 3 days after his crucifixion at Calvary.
You understand? So like when you go back to the origin of Easter, the Christianity term of what we believe in 2025 and in America is that Easter was created for about the resurrection of Christ. You understand? Him laying down, being dead for 3 days, and then coming back up. And now, which I believe they even have the number of the days wrong when it comes down to how the Easter, their Easter works out. But either way, they have it where he died on Friday. It's Good Friday and rose on a Sunday or Monday. Something around them lines. I don't even know what these Christians be doing anymore because it's so stupid. You understand? But their Easter is trying to symbolize Christ, right? Go ahead.
It is also the day that children excitedly wait for the Easter bunny to arrive and deliver their treats of chocolate eggs. The date upon which Easter is held varies from year to year and corresponds with the first Sunday following the full moon after the March equinox.
Right.
It occurs on different dates around the world since Western churches use the Gregorian calendar, while Eastern churches use the Julian calendar. While Easter, as we know it today, was never a pagan festival, its roots and many of its traditions have associations with ancient pagan customs and beliefs. According to the New Unger Bible Dictionary, the word Easter is of Saxon origin. Estra, the goddess of spring.
The goddess of what?
Of spring.
Go ahead.
In whose honor sacrifices were offered about Passover time each year.
Ain't that a coincidence? That the Christians' Easter is always around the what?
Passover.
Which is around the Passover. You understand? They always try to steal and change the dates, whatever the case would be, and make it seem like Easter is something to do with the Lord. And I don't even know where they get the Christ in the scenario in the first place.
Right.
If you like, what does the bunny and eggs and Easter have anything to do with Christ dying and being resurrected? But the crazy thing is that they're trying to say it's about the Passover too. You can't have both. You can't have it be about Christ and about the Passover. Wonder why? Because the Passover was way before that time.
Right.
Passover was in the Egyptian time.
Right.
I'll tell you after. In the Egyptian time. You feel my point? Like Passover happened when the Lord smote all the Egyptians and the firstborns in Egypt to set us free. That's what the Passover is all about. That's why it's the angel of death passed over Israel. You understand? All the ones that had the blood of the lamb on their door-fronts and went and smote all the firstborns of the land. That's the whole point of Passover, because the angel of death passed over us and slew all the our oppressors. From my point, Christ wasn't in this scenario at all. You feel my point?
Right.
But they always want to try to make, that's why they try to bring it back to the New Testament. You gotta think Christians don't believe in the Old Testament damn near. Why? Because to them, the law is done away with. Christ being alive and walking and doing what he did makes it so you are allowed to sin nowadays. That's what Christians are teaching. Well, Christ died for our sins. So then that eradicates the Old Testament, does it not? If Christ so-called died for our sins and eradicated the law, then the Old Testament's gone.
Right.
But I guarantee you, during church services, if they read the scripture, they're going to pull out every book. The hypocrisy of the Christian church is something different. Right? You read it?
Come. By the 8th century, Anglo-Saxons have adopted the name to designate the celebration of Christ's resurrection. However, even among those who maintain that Easter has pagan roots, there is some disagreement over which pagan tradition the festival emerged from. Here we will explore some of those perspectives.
Go ahead.
One theory that has been put forward is that Easter's story of crucifixion and resurrection is symbolic of rebirth and renewal and retells the cycle of the seasons, the death and return of the sun.
the death and return of the sun. When I can't tell you when the sun died, y'all. I don't know when the sun ever died, but if it did, that would be a bad thing for Earth, would it not? Go ahead.
According to some scholars, such as Dr. Tony Nugget, teacher of theology and religious studies at Seattle University and Presbyterian minister, the Easter story comes from the Sumerian legend of Tammuz and his wife, Ishtar.
His wife who?
Ishtar.
Go ahead.
An epic myth called the Descent of Iana, found inscribed on cuneiform clay tablets dating back to 2100 BC. When Tammuz dies, Ishtar is grief-stricken and follows him into the underworld. In the underworld, she enters through 7 gates and her worldly attire is removed. Naked and bowed low, she is judged, killed, and then hung on display. In her absence, the earth loses its fertility.
Stupid.
Crap.
Okay, so what people don't know is Easter and the bunny and the eggs, the whole, which is even the stupidest part of the world, because anyone can know that bunnies don't lay eggs. Right. So I don't know why they even think that's synonymous. But the whole bunny and the egg part is to celebrate Ishtar. You understand? So I'm gonna grab this article about Ishtar, because Ishtar, she is the goddess of fertility and war. So supposedly goddess of fertility and war in the Mesopotamian era. You understand? She, which the sacrifices and the rituals that they did for Ishtar are some of the weirdest and disgusting history on this earth. Slow, Christ, free. Go ahead a little bit.
Come. Let's see. It's right here.
Unless, so I'm gonna start right here. The earth loses its fertility, crops cease to grow, and animals stop reproducing. Unless something is done, all life on earth will end. After Ayana has been missing for 3 days, her assistant goes to other gods for help. Finally, one of them, Inky, creates 2 creatures who carry the plant of life and water of life down to the underworld, sprinkling them on Ayana and Tammuz. It's like this translation. Ishtar and Tammuz, resurrecting them and giving them the power to return to earth as the light of the sun for 6 months. After the 6 months are up, Tammuz returns to the underworld of the dead, remaining there for another 6 months.
You could drop that real quick. All right, so now really the main part we wanted to get into is the Ishtar part and how they started bringing the Ishtar, the worship of the goddess Ishtar, into the Christian church and into so-called Eastern Orthodox. You understand? So I'm gonna read this part of the art. Actually, read this.
This is Ishtar, produced Easter. That's like pronounced Easter. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still...
The who? Like the who?
The egg and the bunny.
The who?
Egg and the bunny.
Tell me that isn't Easter.
Right.
You understand? The goddess of fertility and sex. You understand why? Because we all know that bunnies have one of the highest population rates of all species. You understand? I hate to say it, we grown people. Have you ever seen how fast a bunny can copulate? When I copulate, I don't mean actually like, orgasm or whatever, but how quick they can actually just do the job and move on to another bunny. And then they can give up to what? There's like 30 babies at a time. Like we think cats can give a lot of birth, bunnies can give birth quick. And I think their cycle period, like when women can only give humans can only give birth, human women can only give birth not once a year. I think rabbits are able to get pregnant and give birth every 2 or 3 months. Rabbits are some of the highest populated creatures. We in Chicago where we don't have any wilderness out here where you see rabbits everywhere, don't you? Right. You feel my point? I look out the door at the job, there's always a rabbit chasing another rabbit. Where are these rabbits coming from? Because they're populated so much, it's insane. You feel my point? They just have a really high fertility rate. Hence why they are saying that Ishtar was the goddess of fertility and sex. Because bunnies give a lot of fertility, and then what needs to get impregnated to create a baby? What needs to happen for a female creature to have a baby? What part of it needs to get impregnated? What part of the female creature needs the copulation to enter? A woman's. So you have sperm and thank you, eggs. Yes, eggs. You understand? That's the whole point, is showing you that rabbits, because they can give birth at a crazy high rate, and eggs, the thing that gets impregnated during the act of sex. You feel my point? Is showing you the similarities between quick fertility and a lot of babies through the act of sex, which is what goddess Ishtar represents, which is in quote Easter. Go ahead. And this is in the Roman and the Babylonian cultures. Now let me ask you this: was Christ around during the Babylonian time? Is Babylonian time before Christ or after Christ?
That was before Christ.
So wouldn't that answer your question?
Okay.
Boom. That's where you want to hit the Christians at, about how Christians celebrated Easter. Even if wasn't called necessarily Easter then, they were still celebrating that pagan holiday which represents the customs of Easter. Right. And they can't denounce it when it talks about Easter, sex, rabbits, and bunnies. They can't take away the bunnies and their eggs. They can't disassociate those two. So they would have to accept, well, and then it says Easter, Istar, or Easter. because it's just how it was spelt in the time. Go ahead.
Con. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with resurrection? After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus.
See? When?
After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus.
You understand? That's the whole point. They changed every holiday, all the holidays that we celebrate in America have an origin like this. Valentine's Day, one of the darkest histories of the celebrations that we celebrate, besides like Thanksgiving, of course, is Valentine's Day. Right. You feel my point? It's literally about the murder of two identical brothers and whipping people to get them pregnant. I believe it. Yeah, because each of the brothers' names were Saint Valentine. They murdered the brothers with the last name Valentine, then made the day named after them and said it was love. Insane. They killed one brother on one day, then they killed the other brother on the same day the next year, then named the day after them, and now it's about love. That's the white man for you. You feel my point? All these holidays that we celebrate in America are all paganized. Besides like the 4th of July or like our goofy Juneteenth and stuff like that. But when I mean like real worldly celebrated holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter or Valentine's Day, Halloween, all these celebrations that we celebrate world or globally all have the dark origins as such. But that's just but black people, because we don't want to learn nothing. We just want to have the fun and enjoyment that it comes with. We don't care about the origin. You feel my point? I know people right now about to go celebrate Easter at the age of 30, painting eggs and letting their 15-year-old sons go hunt for colored eggs. Like, when is this boy gonna ever be a man? Right. Like he's about to go run around fighting against other kids to try to get a colorful egg. And painting them. Come on. Like, I would be so sad if my son grew up like that. He's never gonna learn how to be a man. Any more on that? All right, you can drop that. So that's at least a little bit of the dark history of Easter, or not necessarily even dark, where the origins of Easter. Okay. You feel my point? Easter is just a day of fertility and sex. For a point, it's all representing. America, the so-called white man, is such a vile creature. Everything has to do something with immorality or sexual conduct, like how they changed the heart shape for Valentine's into the backside of a woman. You feel my point? Or, but basically, even at New Year's. Well, if you're single, you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, go kiss some random stranger. Like, or you feel my point? Or you have Christmas with the mistletoe. Right. Everything has something to do with an act of intimacy or lust, because that's just how a white man is. He's over here with bestiality, over here changing his gender or their gender, whatever the case may be. Everything has a disgusting act to it, and it's a celebration of another god. You feel me? So let me let's grab the scripture with we shall neither Isaiah 45 and 5. Baba Bashar, and then someone else grab me. You shall serve no gods other than me or beside me. See, that's the same scripture. I might have just quoted the same exact scripture. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, and verse 5. I am the Lord, and there is none else.
There's what?
And there is none else.
You understand? There is another God besides the Lord in the Most High in heaven. And from my point, you over here looking at the Egyptians. They were celebrating 365 gods at one point, one for every day of the year. Cockroaches, dung beetles, the sun, the fig leaf, like everything. They were celebrating. Everything was God to them, except for humans. Humans weren't allowed to be gods, but the dung beetle and the crickets were. Right. Stupidity. You feel my point? And then you have the Chinese. What, Buddha? Some fat white dude, well, not white dude, some fat bald dude for what? Or what that? Getting national. That's East Indians? Ganesha, the elephant? No, the elephant. Ganesha, I think that's East Indians. That has to be the red dots.
Yeah.
It's the East Indians where it has like 6 different arms, and you feel my point? Like they all have some stupid god which has never done anything for them. You understand? But there's one God that has actually done acts on this earth, and that's the Most High in heaven, the God of the Israelites, the creator of everything we have. You feel me? Keep going.
Call God. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me.
There's what?
There is no God beside me.
There's no gods besides our God. You know, there's not one that exists. They're all make-believe. They're all fairy tales, and they all exist in dreamland. Go ahead.
I girded thee, though thou hast not known me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me.
You know, so no matter where you go, north, east, south, and west, all across the globe, you're not going to find another God that exists. Not one that has actually liberated his people or their people. You understand? Not one that has actually saved them through war, actually sent angels from heaven to fight their battles. You understand? Gave them crazy powers or sent UFOs and plagues upon the land to save them. You're not going to find a God like that because they don't exist. Keep going. Hold Exodus 23 and 24.
Oh, God.
I am the Lord, and there is none.
No, you good. It basically repeats itself.
Yeah, go. I am the Lord, and there is none else.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7. I form the light and create darkness.
He does what?
I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil.
You understand? Everything that you see, the sun, the stars, the moon, you understand the loving times you have and the bad times you're going through, the Lord created all that. Right. You understand? The God of the Christian church isn't all love and holding hands and picking pansies with people. It's not the case. He's out here causing wars, floods, earthquakes. He might bring you together with loved ones. You feel my point? Look at the brotherhood he created in UPK. You feel my point? They're great. Everything on this earth that has been done was his decision, his choice, and his will. Right. You understand? No other gods created the mountains or split the Red Sea. You feel my point? None of that. Okay, you can drop that. Grab what you got, Bacon.
Go Khan. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 24.
23 and
23, verse 24. Akim and Arimonium got it?
Okay.
God.
Thou shalt not bow down to their God.
Shall what?
Thou shalt not bow down to their God.
You understand? We shouldn't even be bowing down, meaning serving and following after the customs of their gods. You understand? Once you start following a custom or a tradition, that's bowing down, meaning you became subservient and obedient to the rules at hand. Right. You feel me? You go to the Christian church, you're going to go there on Sunday on what the Sunday's what, the 20th or the 22nd or something. You're going to go to Sunday church and you're going to what? Color eggs. You're going to hide them around the church, or outside the church, depending on the weather. You understand? And you're going to have a whole bunch of adults wearing bunny ears. They're going to have bunny ears, y'all. They're going to be wearing bunny ears at 40, 50-year-old grown men in suit and ties wearing bunny ears saying, go get that egg, son. You can bring back the most. I believe in you. Out of all the things in the world, go get some eggs. And at least back in my day, they were real eggs. Nowadays, you got them fake ones with like Tootsie Rolls and little candy and bubble gum inside of it. You feel my point? It's so goofy. You know, it just shows that the Christian church is just it's a fun house. It's a fun house. There's nothing serious about it. They're gonna have you go around being goofy and fun and dandy, not worried about nothing else in the world. Let's just have fun, everybody. Life isn't about fun and games. If you're going to use the Bible the way it's meant to be, meaning a way to guide people in the right direction. Right. Not a way to just promote whatever belief you want so you have followers running around in circles. You understand? Or catching a check. Use the Bible for what it's meant for. morality, laws, statutes, commandments. You understand the customs of the Black, Hispanic, Native Indian society. From a point, that's what we need to do. But then we got our Black leaders in America. We got all the Christian church advocates and goers, and they're making a mockery of the most holy book on earth. It's disrespectful. So I can't be merciful. I can't even feel empathy against these Christian pastors that are going to get the rod when Christ comes back. And not that way. And they're going to get punished, and they deserve it. Keep reading.
Come on. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works.
No, do after their what?
Works.
You understand? We shouldn't be doing after their works. When Sunday comes, we should just do what we do on every other Sunday. Kick it at the crib. You understand? Go to the movies. You understand? Go to an event. Go to Topgolf. Go do anything in the world except doing Easter and eggs and Christian church bullcrap. Right. Well, there's plenty of hundreds of other things to do on this earth. Why do we have to just get told what to do and just do it? That's crazy. Like, you don't know why you're doing it. You're just doing it. And then we say we're not slaves. If we were point, because we've been taught and beat down so long, we don't know how to ask questions. We don't like to question authority figures, or we don't want to do that, because then we'll be looked at sideways, and then the congregation's going to look at you like, oh, look at Goofy Joey over here. He just said that Easter is stupid. It's pagan. Nah, we've been doing it for the last 200 years. Okay, congratulations. But that's Black people. Okay, you want to say something?
Like you said, if I could, like, and it's the Christians that mainly celebrate it, and they're lying to their children by telling them that bunnies lay eggs, which is a horrible concept in itself. But they're supposed to be the highest, the most wise people. Like, Christians are supposed to uphold this non-lying, we follow the scriptures, then tell their children that Santa Claus is real and bunnies lay eggs.
From my point, you're definitely right. Talking about bunnies laying eggs is just goofy in itself. But that's how far Christians and people will go to enjoy their consistent lifestyle. But we know bunnies don't lay eggs, but we're still going to celebrate it. But then the fact that it's based around a lie, why wouldn't you okay, so why are we doing this? Black people hate asking questions. Hispanic and Native Indians hate asking questions. So I just Googled it. This is irritating. Guess how much is predicted to be spent in America for Easter this year?
It's well over $1 million.
Oh, it's well over $1 million.
You dripping something?
Yeah, you're bad dripping.
It's my sweating,
Is your sweat? That's crazy work. He's dripping sweat. That's cold. Come on.
So
better number. Give me a better number than $1 million. How much money do you think this year is expected to be spent during Easter?
50 mil?
Nope. Come on, y'all. Let's get some realistic numbers. We're in America now. 100 million. A bill. Pause. How much do you think is going to be spent this year during Easter on Sunday?
Easter?
Yeah, in the country.
In the country? $1.5 billion.
All right. No other guess? Y'all so far off. It's insane. $23.6 billion estimated to be spent on Sunday. $23.5 billion is expected to be spent this Sunday for Easter. That's absolutely insane. For a country that's $350 trillion in debt, we're spending $26.5 billion on rabbits and eggs. No wonder the Lord got to get rid of this place. You feel my point? No wonder the Lord calls us a stiff-necked people. Because we're celebrating the goofiest things on the earth, and we'll die about it. We'll die about it.
So
We're gonna go ahead.
Is that the average that the
No, that's the
every year?
That's the estimated total for this year. That's the American. This is in 2025. Americans are expected to spend a near record of 23.6 billion on Easter. This is an increase. Last year was 22.4. That's $189 per person in the country. That's absolutely nuts. But but we can't get $200 per person of Passover. You feel my point? That's the stupidity and the foolishness of being in a country like this underneath the oppressor. Is that we so dumbed down, we believe that bunnies lay eggs, and we're about to spend $200 per person per period in America on Goofy. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, like at the warehouse I work at the jewel warehouse, they start preparing for Easter, even right after
Valentine's Day?
No, even before that. New Year's? Even before that, after they send out
before New Year's.
If they send out, when they send out the Halloween candy, after that candy, they start preparing for Easter and Valentine's Day candy. That's crazy.
That's
insane.
Candy. I know Easter is big, but to be basically that big of a conglomerate and a money maker for the country, I would have never expected it. Like, there's only because no wonder they're raising the prices of eggs every goddamn year. Like 4 years ago, a dozen eggs was like $1.99. Them Jones are like what, $6.99 now? I hate buying eggs, but I need it for my protein.
Does it say how much of this goes to the Christian church? Because I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I remember growing up, I didn't come up in a Christian church, but for some reason on Sundays we went to church for Easter.
You're right.
Easter, you know what I'm saying? I would do it. Say how much do people go to church and pay tithes? Is that included?
Easter Sunday. Okay, I just googled it. Easter Sunday is a significant time for church giving, often resulting in increased donations compared to regular weeks.
Exactly.
While specific amounts vary, some churches see a substantial increase in giving during Easter, potentially exceeding regular weeks averages. For instance, one online giving platform reported more than 13 million in donations to churches on Easter last year.
How much?
13 million. And that's not just all the churches. That's just an area of churches. Because you can't say, because if we say all the churches, then how the hell are they spending 2.6 billion? Yeah. That's just a centralized number of a region. Go ahead, Jordan.
Also, when I was in a Christian church, they had like these services every day, you know what I'm saying, at the Christian church that I went to, like 5 o'clock in the morning. They would get up all week, you know what I'm saying, around this time and come to church, and they would have an offering every day, you know what I'm saying? So so that's just, you could just imagine how much money that generated.
That's absolutely insane. I'm just keep looking stuff up. Christian church percentage of goers goes up 43% for Easter. Oh, that's insane.
So what's 43% of 23 billion?
Well, that's not the money wise. I'm just saying that's the regular goers. So there's regular goers that go every Sunday, but then there's Easter, and then before Easter, it's a 43% increase of people that attend.
Okay.
Yeah, like people don't attend all year, but Easter come, and now everyone wants to attend to go do whatever it do for Easter, which is go hide eggs, real or fake. And I remember doing it as a kid, but I actually celebrated Easter at the bar when I was a child. The bar would celebrate Easter, and they'd hide, eggs around the bar. It was pretty cool. You feel me? But back then, I was 7. Not knowing that I was celebrating stupidity. You feel me? But that's absolutely insane. And this is why the Lord's got to do something about this place. The Christian church has got to go.
That's right.
We're only talking about Easter. We're the number one consumer on the earth, that 5.6 billion I said is I bet that's half of black people. Almost half is probably us blacks, Hispanics, and Indians. About putting all our money into that because we don't know how to capitalize with our own finances. You understand? It's in our genes. It's just in our DNA at this point, being oppressed for 400 plus years to keep giving our money for fun. Remember, you're getting beat down every day at your job, on your own block, by your kids, by your wife, maybe by your husband, or whatever the case may be, every goddamn day. No wonder we flood the churches for fun, because we need some type of happiness. We need a little bit of enjoyment. You got to buy enjoyment in America. America is just one ginormous shopping mall. You feel me? You think you got to go to Chicago? Chicago's a shopping mall. LA, shopping mall. That's all America is. It's really just one place. That's why it's called a tourist spot. Why do you think everyone comes here? Because everything here is a tourism spot. So when we go to Disneyland while we're here, they come here because here is Disneyland to them. You feel me? We're just a place of amusement for them. But drop that. Let's someone grab the story of the real Passover and not Easter. You know, saying Exodus, Baba Gashar. And then let's get the holiday scripture. So Amos 5 and 21. If someone could grab that too. You know, no matter we keep bashing Easter, we keep bashing the Christian church because it's something that needs to happen. People nowadays don't have the strength to speak against the wrongdoings that's done upon blacks and Hispanics. We like to join the oppressor instead of go against the oppressor. Now it's time to fight against the oppressor's ways. You understand? And the greatest way to do that, The greatest way to do that is to learn his tactics, learn what's destroying you, and fight against what's being pushed on us. What's being pushed on us the most is the Christian church, is religion. Right. You understand? A way to keep our minds docile, a way to make us subservient to white folk. Because we go in the Christian church, we do what? We praise and serve and bow down to a white Jesus. You understand? The same pale skin that we serve for 400 years, that's who we got to worship every Sunday. You understand? He tells us what we can and can't do. And apparently, their Jesus tells us it's okay to sin. My point, their Jesus says, go ahead, sin. YOLO, you only live once. You're saying when you die, you're going to go kick it with me. Crazy. But it's what he says. Like, why do we got to die to kick it with him? Why can't he just come here? You feel me? Like if he's all, if the white man Jesus could just do all what he wants to do, why can't he just come here and kick it? Why do we got to be dead first? Right. The illogicalness of the Christian church is just frustrating. Right. But people just don't have the brains to realize they're being conned. You understand? We live in a false reality every day. You feel me? So, what you got, Rakam?
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 23.
Handle it.
Come. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 23.
Go ahead.
For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians.
What verse you got again?
Exodus chapter 12, verse 23.
I went the opposite way around. I'm dyslexic. Go ahead. You want to start something else?
No. I just wanted to bring out this point. Yeah, it's a brother that I knew a couple years ago. He posted on Facebook. He had on a full bunny outfit during this time, and you know his wife. Shortly after that, his wife left him. Yeah, left him. She's pregnant by another man. Right now. It's like she seen the bitch in
I bet that bunny had a bow tie and everything, didn't it? Yeah, I already know. You feel me? He's looking like that bunny off of Pets.
You know what's funny? I just thought about what he said. Remember Big Daddy? I wipe my own ass. Remember the buddy he used to the movie the little boy used to walk.
Man, I can't deal with y'all niggas.
So like even in school today, I saw a giant like inflatable bunny like walking through like the cafeteria, and I'm just thinking to myself, Like these kids are well over 15, and some of them going into 18, and they still do things like
That's
this.
the point. You know, and that's why we always say to UBK, just because you've grown don't mean you're an adult. You feel me? You can be an 80-year-old child, and America breeds grown children. You understand? We've all been in a relationship with one. At one point in our time, we've been in a relationship with a grown child. You understand? Our parents were probably grown children. I know mine is. She's a grown child. At one point, she spends as much as I make every year on goofiness. You understand? But it is what they do. You had your hand up, Mapasa?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, like Easter, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's in the Bible, it don't mean what they think it mean in a Christian church. You know, if you look up the word Easter in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it'll tell you it means Passover.
That's the whole point. You understand? That's another thing you want to hit them with, car, is that Easter that they think they talk about isn't the Easter now. The white man is good at changing things around. Like he just changed what was it last year? Christopher Columbus Day to Indigenous People Day last year. So let's say if Lord allow America does not last this long, in 40 years they won't even know it was ever Christopher Columbus Day. You feel my point? So they'll be celebrating Christopher Columbus Day, in quote, Indigenous People Day, thinking it's actually a celebration to honor and glorify Indigenous people, instead of the day that they got slaughtered by Christopher Columbus.
Right.
That's how evil white man is. He's so cunning with it. Like, you don't need to physically beat people up anymore. It's just psychological at this point. It's simple. It's easier to psychologically manipulate people, especially when they're on drugs, when they're oppressed, they're killing their own kind. They only learning from the oppressive school books and curriculums. Of course, we're not going to know things are going on because we have can't be taught otherwise. I got you. You go to any other country, they learn true history about what's actually transpired on this earth. Everywhere. I've spoken to so many Africans where they teach them that we were the one, we fled from Israel into the west coast of Africa. They teach that in the schools in Africa. Why do you think they're so easily against IUIC? Because they know they're going down there on some bullcrap. They know that it's not that because they teach it in their curriculums at school. Right. The Chinese too. That's why when we say that the entire earth knows the story of Noah and the flood, because they all have the same story because it happened all around the globe. Right. You feel my point? But then we still have goofies out there saying, oh, it never happened. Well, then why is it in the history books of all across the earth? Right. You understand? The only reason our history isn't all across the earth is because the white man blocks it from us. You understand? It's everywhere else. It's just not here where we dwell.
Right.
You feel my point? Car, then pause up.
Now, what I wanted to say, what you bringing out so heavy as far as like with the period of time passing and you not knowing nothing. It's like when we breaking down the scriptures in the Bible and we telling our own people, like this book was only written to you for you.
Right.
But so much time has went by, we really believe that Christ was out there talking to and Paul and all every prophet in our mind, they got us thinking it was a bunch of all different races standing there listening to the prophets bring out the word, when really these are personally our records.
Right.
But so much time that went by, and like you said about the so-called white man, he's so diabolical. He handed it out to everybody. And the words are so powerful, it makes every nation take something from it and think they included as well.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, guard, then you got to think about when we were actually physically in chains. When they gave us they made it so we weren't allowed to read.
Right.
We weren't allowed to write for a period of time. Let a couple of generations die off that knew about the real history. Then let's teach these new kids or these new generations. Oh, well, go ahead, read this book. This is what it means. This is what it means. That's actually what it's talking about. Boom. You just eradicated a whole race of people off the earth mentally or psychologically. You feel me? Because there's no more history. That's why when we find the books in the UPK, which are so great, was it like 100-Year Slave or something like that? It's a small little thin yellow book. We have it in our arsenal over there somewhere. No, it's about basically a biography of a cis or people that given our records of their time in slavery. Say that? When I was a slave. You understand? The book is called When I Was a Slave. It's talking about how they got the truth from their forefathers and their grandparents, and it trickled down to them. But then when you kill everyone else off and then tell people they can't read or write for 2-3 generations, now that just got eradicated. You understand? That's why records are so important. Like you get keepsakes from your parents or your foreparents. It's wise to keep those. Keep them within the family. Don't just give them off and throw them away, because those little keepsakes can keep you in the family or keep you, close to the truth. Like, for example, Captain DeBar, his great grandparents kept all the records of their times in slavery, and then before them, and DA can trace back his leniency all the way back to Harriet Tubman. You feel my point? It's because they honored their foreparents and listened to the stories and kept the records that they gave them physically. But because us in 2025 and a little before then, we don't give a damn about our parents. We don't give a damn about history because we get taught YOLO. Doesn't matter. Who cares about your history? You feel my point? That's what Steve Harvey said, didn't it? Forget about slavery.
Right.
Forget about it. You understand? But every year we definitely take off our hats for 9/11 every year. We celebrate every holiday every year. Why don't we just forget about them? They happened a long time ago, didn't they? No, because America's holidays are conquests. America's holidays are days where they overcame something. You feel me? They murdered the Indians. They killed the Valentine brothers. They gained their independence from Great Britain. Whatever the case may be, they did something so-called great for their country, so they got to recognize it every year. And they definitely don't remember the bad that happens to them. Or they wouldn't have went and bombed Iran. Or they wouldn't have went and bombed Iraq for that one news reporter that got beheaded so many years back. Right. You feel my point? That's the crazy part about it. The hypocrisies of America, and we just feed into it. Apostle, you had something?
Yeah, I was just wanted to point out when you was bringing up the flood, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Just to add to what you were saying, you know what I'm saying. Every religion, it don't matter where you at or what they choose to study, they got some history of a flood in they records.
Right. You're right. You feel me? And then let's say the white man's the devil Bible speaks of.
Yeah, that's right.
You understand? After he eradicated us and destroyed us and made it so we couldn't read or write, then he goes and pushes 28 different Bible versions. So now, no matter what Bible we get, we don't even know what is what. And that's why we have to battle. We battle idiots all the time. One got the NIV or the Apothecary Diary or whatever. You feel my point? And it's like, oh, how do you know this? How do you know that? Now we got to battle which Bible is the real Bible. That's an atrocity. That is just that's a huge offense to the Lord. You talk about the scriptures say you don't add a jot or a tittle to the word. They create new jots, new tittles, all over the place. They can create new books saying it's the word of God. Like the white man's got to go. You understand that Isaiah chapter 21 that needs to happen, or 14 needs to happen quickly, or we just gonna keep going down the rabbit hole we are never gonna get back out of. But thanks to the Most High in Christ, we were given a sliver of hope, and that hope is in the EPK. You feel my point? And that hope is gonna overcome the darkness that we've been facing for so long. You understand? Just a sliver of hope is gonna save the entire nation. You feel me? So let's get back to it. Oh, how can I even forget to say this? Go back to start at 15. Rakam. We can't go over what we're celebrating right now. How dare I forget that?
Oh my God. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
So what?
7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
Yeah, I already shout out at the Lord's 56th annual Passover that we was having in Atlanta, Georgia. You understand? It was a beautiful time, brothers and sisters, having a great time and all love and brotherhood and sisterhood. It was amazing as always. It's always the same, it's more brothers, more sisters to spread the love with. You feel me? But after the Passover, we had another thing on Sunday, which is the start of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. but we recognize the trials and the tribulations that the brothers and sisters had to face after they fled Egypt. And so after the Lord let them cross the Red Sea. At that time, we didn't have the rations that we wished we had because the Africans are disgustingly diabolical, just like the white man is. So we had to eat unleavened bread for a long time, not just 7, 8 days. They had to do it for quite a while. But the Lord wants us to remember those trials that we went through. You understand? We really, out of all slaveries, this might be a bad slavery, but at least it's not physically bad. You feel me? I personally, mental slavery, I think, is worse. But at least we get, TVs and couches and beds and nice food or whatever the case may be. Think about it back in Egypt. We had none of that. You understand? In Rome, we didn't get none of that. You feel my point? This is a terrible slavery, but at least we can live in some type of comfort within it. That's the only thing I can say about it. I'm not giving no justice to the white man for none of this. We created everything we see anyway. But we're eating Chipotle and gyros and Wingstop every day and Chick-fil-A. You feel my point? But back then we were eating unleavened bread, going through it. We were getting whipped on our backs 24/7, going through it. Like there's a lot of different types of slavery. I don't know which one I'd want more, or which more or less. Less. You feel my point? Like I can honestly say that it's a slavery. It is. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as it could be yet for our generation. Let's think about our grandparents. If we're having to run away from dogs and get whipped and chained up, teeth knocked out of their mouths and stuff like that. Yes, we do get killed. Yes, we do get crimes upon us, but it was legal then. It was everybody then. We had to live in barns that are on feces and stuff like that. Here, we going through slavery. It's hell, but it's not as physically bad. That's my opinion. Y'all can take it or leave it. You feel me? But keep reading. Pause.
What's best about this slavery to me is this the last one.
That's super. It is definitely our last slavery, but what it's going to take for you brothers and sisters to start coming into the UPK. Brothers putting in all black, going through Hebrew Academy, learning how to be real men. Right. You understand? And a big shout out to the class of 2025 Hebrew Academy graduates. You understand? As General Hyman said, you have become real friends to us brothers in the UPK. You understand? You've earned it, and we look forward to going to war with you. Go ahead, Rakan.
Come. Even the first, even the first day, ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
You understand? So since we're remembering the time where we had to eat unleavened bread for quite a while after getting out of the captivity of Egypt, you understand, eating unleavened bread, we're going to remember them and go through the same dietary struggle that they had to go through. You understand? Not eating, real bread like pita bread or, wheat bread and Italian herbs and cheese or whatever the case may be. You understand? We got to eat that hard, crunchy, and not so good bread. You understand? Even though the brothers know how to do their thing for Passover and they made some good Passover unleavened bread, I'm still putting that on the bottom of my bread food chain. That's just me. Go ahead, Babaza.
I just want this. They're speaking on the manna, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
The manna?
Yeah, that they had to eat.
I'm talking about manna that fall from the sky.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, they had to physically cook this land. They made this bread. Yeah, they were making this bread because when we were fleeing Egypt, we had the people, whatever the case. Then we have like the cows and the goods and the crops or whatever we're bringing with us, and they were getting attacked and ambushed on the backhand side. And to get through the Red Sea, we had to leave a lot of that behind, or it got destroyed. So we didn't have the utensils or the yeast and flour that we needed to make real bread. So they actually had to. That's all they could do. They just made flat bread because they didn't have the rest of the ingredients not to do so. Yeah, this is, like I said, it wasn't an easy time. Remember, this is not over an oven or a stove top. This is on fire and hopefully a skillet or something along the lines, maybe even a piece of wood. People, I don't know if you've ever watched like wilderness survival videos. I watch them all the time. You know, dude living in the wilderness in the cold or in the warm and starting fires and making his food and whatever the case may be. That's not an easy task. You understand? Especially when you have the entire nation to feed. It's not like it was just 5 of us or 10 of us camping. It was hundreds of us fled out of Egypt. And we had to feed all of them on unleavened bread. My point. Plus having to ration. Men having to go on the hunt, going through the seasons. It wasn't an easy time. So just us, this is the least we can do to remember what they had to go through. You feel me? This is the least we could do is just eat that, crunchy bread. Go ahead.
Oh God. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut from Israel.
You forgot a word.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
You understand? And this is a commandment by the Lord. This is a law. Every year we're going to remember this Feast of Unleavened Bread. And we're going to eat unleavened bread all the time. But the ones that don't do it, you're going to be cut off from the nation of Israel. Meaning that it's a grave sin to not eat your leavened bread for the 7-day time frame for this feast. You understand? Same way you got to remove all the leaven from your house, meaning the flour. You got to get rid of the anything with the yeast in it, all the foods that were already like in the shelves or whatever. Go put them in your trunks of your cars or in the basement of your crib off into the cut, whatever you got to do. You understand? And basically, what I always say for Feast of Unleavened Bread, it's taco and nacho season. You understand? Like the pauses I posted on Facebook earlier, yesterday or today. This is, what was it, you? No, where was IG? That we become Mexicans for this week.
I think that was Ash.
That was Ash. One of us, I know one of you brothers said that. Kazawa? Yeah, so we all become the tribe of Isupk on this week. You understand? It's all tacos, nachos, and it's it. Because there's not a lot of food with unleavened in it. That's good, at least. You understand? I don't mind nachos. That's my favorite food. You feel my point? I can't eat Doritos, but it is what it is. I can use regular tortilla chips. Go ahead, Bukam.
Gone. You want me to go into 16?
Yeah.
Gone.
Wait.
Verse 16. Yeah.
Skip to 17.
Gone. Verse 17. And ye shall observe the feast. So like, ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. Mm-hmm. For in this self-same day I have brought your armies out of the land of Egypt.
He brought our what?
Armies out of the land of Egypt.
You understand? Remember, he didn't just say he brought your people or you out of the nation of Egypt. He brought your armies. Right. You understand? I mean, the congregation of black men, we supposed to be something different than as basketball players, NFL players, or R&B singers, or whatever the case you want to be in this society we call America. You supposed to be soldiers and warriors, a part of an army. You understand? What's the point of saving a race and not saving the men of war? Right. If what we're gonna go save a whole bunch of little young thugs, little Uzi Verts, that's who we're gonna go save. The Lord needs people that's gonna stand up for his nation and fight. Hence why Commander General Hana, under the Lord of Christ, make sure every 2 years, this year was 3, we have Hebrew Academy. You understand? To train the real soldiers, because these are the soldiers that this exact same story is going to happen to, but here in America. The Lord's going to get our army up out of America, the same way he got his army up out of Egypt. You understand? Because we can build a nation, but we can only do it with strong men. We can only do that with down sisters. From my point, we don't need no purples and never mind. I ain't even gonna go there. But we don't need no pansies. We don't need no LGBTQ brothers out there or sisters out there. Y'all can if y'all gotta be with Egypt when it fall, be with Egypt when it fall. And it will catch you in the kingdom at the low end. But at the end of the day, we need men to stand up and women to gird themselves down and realize that your man's gonna get another wife and come into the truth. Just do it. Keep reading.
Come. Therefore, ye shall observe this day in your generation. And in your generations by an ordinance forever.
You understand? This is something that we got to do in all of our generations. This isn't just for us. This is going to get passed down to our children, our children's children, and this is going to keep going until the Lord Christ say we don't got to do it anymore. Who knows if that's even going to happen? You understand? So prepare yourselves to celebrate this same week every year until your breath goes away. Go ahead. Skip down to 19.
Come. Verse 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even in that soul, shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel. Congregation of Israel. Salaki.
You understand? So we ain't even. So make sure you got to get all. It's already been done. But the people that don't know what they got to do, you understand? If you're gonna make sure to celebrate the rest of this Feast of Leavened Bread this entire week, to make sure to get all the leavened bread and flour up out of your crib, and that means all the foods that have them in their ingredients. You understand? There's some foods like any type of bread. Basically get it gone because I don't know any person that just keeps unleavened bread in their crib besides like a taco shell. Get rid of that. You understand? If you have some types of chips are unlawful, like the Cheeto Puffs, anything puff, 90% of crackers, almost all of cookies. You understand? All these different types of food, you got to get them out your crib for the time that we are going on. You understand why? Why do we have to remove it? Okay.
So you don't get tempted to eat it.
Yes, so definitely so you don't get tempted to eat it. Facts. But what else? What other reasons do we have to remove it out of our crib? Nobody.
Say yes, sir.
What other reason do we have to not have the leaven in our house? Or leavened food in our house?
It's also represents too to keep the leaven out of ourselves.
What?
Like I'm just paraphrasing.
So of course the first reason would be because we don't want temptation, as Rakam said. What would the second reason be? Let me try one. Or unless you want to pass it on.
Yeah, correct. So is that our old selves don't rise again? Is that what it means?
Same thing.
So our souls can be cut off from Israel.
Facts, yes, true. All right, I'll give it to you. So we can't be blamed for eating it. Imagine if you have it in your crib card. Okay, let's say of course, if you're living with someone in the world or someone else in the world has whatever it is, fuck it. Excuse me, French. But let's say I go to Car's crib. He lives on his own. He's in the truth. He's been in the truth for 5 years now. At the end of the year, if I go to his crib right now and he has leaven in his crib, what's the first thing I'm gonna think?
So like he was eating the bread.
He's eating the bread. He's eating the leavened food. You don't want to have the appearance as if you're sinning. You feel me? If you have it in your crib and the law is that you can't have it in your crib for this time, the only assumption that we can even come to or conclusion we can come to is that you are eating it. Right. Even if you haven't, right. How could we believe you? You feel my point? So you can be blameless. You just get rid of it for the period of time. So if I do to go to his crib, I'll be like, hey, can I go get, I don't know, a soda or something? I'm not going to open up his crib or open up his fridge and I see pasta or something along the lines. From a point, you just get it out the crib so you can't be blamed and then you're going to be put on trial. If it's only you against this, if you have it in your crib, you already sinned once. So now you're saying you didn't eat it, but it was in your crib. but you sin by keeping it in your crib, why would I believe you're telling the truth at this point? You feel me? You got to remain blameless. You never want to have the appearance as if you're sinning. You feel me? That was the reason. Go ahead. You can finish it off.
Come. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land.
Yes, and now you read this, you see the words stranger or born in the land. This is where you get Christians be like, see, this is where we saying all people fall into this category. It's not just the Israelites. What does it mean when it says stranger in this context? Okay, well, come if you want to be the only one participating. That's cool. Appreciate you.
Like the people who are not aware.
What you mean?
So, like, for an example, like if my mom was to eat bread throughout this time period, she's not in the congregation, but she's still gonna get punished for that.
Not here. So when we talk about strangers or whatever the case may be, if it's saying a stranger or someone that was born in the land, what could it be talking about? Car.
Someone that's not, born in the land, but they're of Israel.
Right. You feel me? Because you think Christians or white folk always try to believe or try to say that the word stranger means it's not an Israelite.
Right.
That's not true in most contexts. In this context, it's talking about people serving the law. We know the law was only given to blacks, Hispanics, and Indians, Israelites, according to the Bible. So if it's talking about a stranger, it's just talking about, let's say Hadariala comes over here. He's a stranger because he doesn't dwell here in Chicago. Or let's say we have Commander Johanna come. He's an Israelite, but he's still a stranger. He just doesn't dwell in this land. That's why a stranger is just basically a guest from out of town. And that's why it says, or born in the land, which would be us here in Chicago, right? It's not going to talk about no heathen if it's talking about needing to serve and follow the law. Keep going. I'm basically going to finish this chapter.
Come. Verse 20, ye shall eat nothing leavened. In your habitations, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread.
You understand? So in all our habitations, meaning every year we're going to do this feast. You understand? I still don't understand why it's called a feast, because I feel like I'm being restrained for feasting. But tomato. You understand? We're going to do this every year. You understand? We're going to eat unleavened bread. We're going to remember and honor what our foreparents did back in the day when they had to go through their trials and tribulations after getting out of slavery. Because we're going to have to do the same damn thing. What some people, brothers, really don't get is that we're not just going to be teleported into the kingdom and be on the kingdom of heaven right when we get out of here. We're going to be going right into the wilderness, having to build teepees and huts and cook in the wilderness and all. It's not going to be the most beautiful time in the world. You understand? So if you're a homebody, you don't like the outdoors, I bet you take a hike. A literal hike and get used to it, because this is what's coming to an Israelite community near you. You feel me? If you don't, this is why Hebrew vocabulary is so important. And it's only going to keep evolving. We're going to start doing wilderness survival courses, because majority of brothers, not just talking about UBK, majority of people that will get saved or might get saved, they don't know how to live in the wilderness. They're not going to know how to start a fire or build a tent or a teepee or fish or hunt or none of that stuff. So you got to realize we're going to start off with guns. Cool, fine. Maybe that's not a guarantee either. But even if we get our guns after when we get beamed up or whatever, we're going to run out of ammo eventually. We're not going to have steel mills and all these different types of things. We're going to have to go back to bow and arrows and spears and things of that sort. Because I believe it's going to say about 40 years. That's quite a while. I believe that's around the time that it's going to. You got to think it's the whole kingdom. Look how long it took to build America. So at this point, we're going to have to educate ourselves on how to survive without the resources that we are given so nonchalantly in America. You feel my point? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We kind of got it easy, but we don't. You feel me? So I advise and I'll give instructions to all brothers to research, train, just do some type of edification for yourselves, because you don't want to be the brother out there stuck not knowing how to do nothing.
Right.
Because let's say you are an officer of 5,550, you might be instructed to lead that many people in the wilderness. And if you can't lead them in how to do this and do that, and some other brother that doesn't have a damn rank can show you how to do it, who they're gonna think is a fool? Definitely not the one that just started the fire and got us fish. It's gonna be the brother that said I'm in charge of all y'all, but can't do a damn thing to lead them or instruct them or to protect them. So learn how to do things. You feel me? I'm speaking to myself too. I took a course a long time ago, so I'm definitely rusty. What I'm just saying, it's a wise thing to do to study this. But I've been talking Captain McCall, it's gonna be eventually added into Hebrew Academy because it's gonna be a necessity in not too long. You feel my point? All right, keep on.
Come. Verse 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take your lamb according to your family, and kill the Passover.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 22.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the actual story of Passover. You understand? Well, your Christian church, they don't really say it. They don't say it has something to do with this. But the word Passover in the Bible, it translates to Passover. You understand? When you actually go through the Strong's definitions or whatever the case may be, you'll find out that the word Easter actually transitions over to the word Passover, and it's talking about the time we got out of Egypt. It has nothing to do with the Christ's resurrection. It's all about us getting out of captivity. You feel my point? Go ahead.
Come God. Verse 22. And ye shall take a bunch of
hyssop,
and dip it in the blood, and
you got it.
Dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel, and the two side posts with the blood, and that is in the basin,
mm-hmm.
and none of your
you straight. You got one of the mini Bibles, don't you?
Okay.
You read a mini Bible. We got a big Bible.
And none of you shall go out at the door of this house until the morning.
You understand? So what we got? So for the Passover, what they did was they'd go and they would unalive one of their lambs. You understand? And with that lamb, they would drain the blood and put it into a basin. It would be basically like a bucket. And with that blood, what they do is they'd go outside the crib and they'd paint the trim of the outdoor part of the door on the outside with the blood of the lamb. You understand? It's painted all red with the blood, and they'd go back inside the crib. And so they wouldn't leave out during the nighttime while that blood was still there. You got it.
Come.
All right. Verse 22 or 3. My bad.
Verse 23. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth blood on the lintel and the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door.
He'll do what?
The Lord will pass over the door.
You understand? The Lord, when it says the Lord will pass through and smite the Egyptians, I mean, he's sending an angel of death. There are many different types of angels. You understand? Angels of death, angels of light, angels that go and cause earthquakes, some that cause tornadoes or tsunamis, or whatever the case may be. They all have different jobs and tasks that they got to do. Some might just be spying on you in the crib, seeing if you're doing the right thing or not. But at the end of the day, the Lord had an angel of death go by, and he was going to go smite all the firstborns of the Egyptians. You understand? For all the crimes that they were doing to us, it was time to fight back. And during that time, so the angel of death didn't unalive anyone that was an Israelite. What he did was made sure that we put the blood on the door, on the outer parts of the door, to make sure that was the sacrifice. Instead of the firstborn son being the sacrifice, the lamb became the sacrifice, and you were spared because the angel of death would swoop through. He'd see that you killed the lamb and put it on your door. He'd be like, all right, a lamb died, so this person's protected. And the only ones that got the memo were the Israelites.
Right.
You understand? So the angel of death said, all right, cool. This community's straight. I'm going to go catch up with these Egyptians real quick. You understand? Go ahead.
Come.
The last line.
Come.
And will not
And
suffer.
will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
You understand? Because if you didn't put that blood upon your door, the outer part of your door, you was about to die. You understand? And it might have not just been the firstborn, because what if you didn't have kids? You feel my point? Or what if you both are firstborn adults? Either way, he was going to unalive the houses. Because why? Because at the end of the day, they did not follow the order that was given if they didn't put the blood around the corners of the door. So now there's disobedient children. It's like 2 birds, 1 stone. Either you're going to be obedient, I'm going to save you, or you'll be disobedient, and I can get rid of you. Then I only got obedient ones left. You feel my point? The Lord is not the loving and I'm going to hold your hand and skip through you through the field of tulips type of guy. Neither is Christ. He's not the one to hold your hand and sing kumbaya with you. Right. This isn't the Lion King. The Lord is someone that says, do what I do or die. It's not even, that's why that whole false reality of freedom or free will is a thing. You're really not free to do a damn thing. Because if you were so free, that means you wouldn't have any consequences to the actions that you commit when you do them. That's saying, okay, cool. If there's no consequences, then why do people that are in the LGBTQ community get AIDS or sexual transmitted disease? Because obviously what they're doing is wrong, and it comes with a consequence. That's right. Only bad things come with bad consequences. If I'm doing a good act and I save someone's life and I get a donation, or I'm on the news and I get a check from the city, that's a consequence I would like. AIDS is not one. Right. You understand? Cancer is not one of the consequences I'd like from smoking. So if you don't want lung cancer, then don't smoke. I don't know why America makes it so like ABC is not 1, 2, 3, it's ZXY. But at the end of the day, what we need to do is realize that no matter what you do, there is going to be a repercussion.
That's right.
And that's why free will is nonsense. You understand? You have a choice of the action you commit, but you don't have a choice for the consequence you receive.
That's right.
That's what people don't get. And that's why that Cooley, whatever damn his name is, was the most annoying person to ever listen to debate. You understand? He doesn't understand that consequences come with. He kept saying it, and he only read 2 verses and kept saying the same verse over and over again, which made me have to fight to make it through the debate. Even Captain Cesario got so irritated. He said, "I'm done with this," and got off. You feel me? Like I've never seen Captain Cesario get that upset or that irritated by a goofy that he just said, "No, screw it. I feel I've won this. I'm done. You feel me? But that's what we need to realize, that if we didn't follow the Lord and we didn't put that blood upon our doorposts, we wouldn't even be here now. The Lord gave us a chance to be obedient. Israel was obedient, and he got out the slavery that they were in, and they were freed from it. Gotcha. And that's the same thing that's coming now. Instead of us actually having this physically, you see us killing unalive lambs all the time, but that's because we have celebrating the Passover. But we already had a sacrificial lamb. And that sacrificial lamb was for the entire nation of Israel to have another chance before we got eradicated like we were about to in Egypt. You understand? But the Lord had mercy upon the brothers and sisters in Egypt, the same way the Lord had mercy upon us now by sending Christ. If it wasn't for Christ, Israel we wouldn't even be a thing. We'd be just as extinct as the dinosaurs. You understand? We'd still be just as extinct as saber-tooth tigers and mammoths and all these things that the white man killed off. We wouldn't exist at all, which is crazy to think. And the Lord sent one individual, and that one blameless and perfect individual ended up having to suffer the greatest suffering ever, just so you can take another breath. You understand? Or just to take a breath. You understand? And with that breath, now you have a choice. Are you going to die and disgrace him, or are you going to survive? Or are you going to live and honor him? You understand? You don't honor people with words. That's irrelevant. Your words have nothing to do with honoring people. It's the actions that you use, the actions that you do, the things you follow, the things you believe in, and the morals you embrace. From a point, I can say I love Convention Hall all I want, but if I'm not going to the Passover, I'm not paying my tithes, I'm not going to class, I'm not teaching the doctrine that he passed down to us, then we don't really love him. Same thing with Christ. He said, follow the law. Don't eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. Don't be in the LGBT community. Don't smoke. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Don't covet. Don't do all these things. That's how you know you love me. That's what Christ said. So you got to make sure that you are following the line with actions, not just words.
That's right.
From a point, the Christian church praises the name of Jesus every day. And guess what? Look at how many Christian churches have been burning down and going bankrupt, getting struck by lightning, and all that. Name me one UPK school that's happened to. Name me one. You can't. I can name you a whole bunch of fake Israelite groups that happened to. A whole bunch. But not one UPK school has ever went through that type of trial and tribulation. Why? Because the Lord is with the house of UPK.
That's right.
Yes, because the house of UPK is the only one that actually abides by the law. Abides by the teachings that was passed down by the greatest man that ever walked this earth.
Right.
And it wouldn't have happened if one man didn't hold the mantle and keep it going, which he deserves our honor and our reverence, not by words, but with actions.
That's right.
Keep reading, Rakon. We at 24.
Come. Verse 24. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordained ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
Go ahead.
Go on, verse 25. And it shall come to pass when ye become to the land which the Lord will give you according to like it.
Take it out.
Which the Lord will give you according as he has promised.
Mm-hmm.
That ye shall keep this secret, this service.
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
No, you're straight. Pause up. Can you take over for him? We Exodus 12 and 26.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 26. Everybody there? Okay. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean you by this service?
You understand? When your kids, because our kids are gonna do it. You understand? Mpaza know. He got 10 of them, and they all coming in asking them questions, doing what they do. You understand? Look, we got Yardan and his son in the class. His son's an officer of the Lord. His son is a Hebrew Academy graduate because he asks questions. You understand? When these things happen, go ahead.
Verse 27. That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover.
It is what?
It is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover.
Yes, and these are the sacrifices for the Lord's Passover. We do it every year. A whole bunch of innocent little lambs get slaughtered and enjoyed. It was very good this year. Do you like the lamb? Y'all like the lamb this year? Oh, damn. I think last year's was the best, personally.
I don't think we made to it.
We're not, we let, unfortunately, it was the oppressors that had to make the land because we were in the hotel. I'm saying, let Passover be on here. I'm putting a pause on the grill. He's making all 50. You don't even get a team. It's just you. We'll pay him. It is, so just gird your loins, brother. Gird your loins. We're gonna get you a big grill so you put 2 to 5 lambs on there at a time. You just say, give it up to this brother. He about to put the lamb on the grill this Sunday, ain't he? You understand? I advise you to make it on time because there will be pickings off the grill before it even make it to the plates. You understand? The closing of the opening of the Feast of First Fruits will be this coming Sunday.
That's right.
You understand? Make sure it's going to be a great feast as always. You know, thanks. We in Chicago. We're Officer of 1,000 Warrior. He's always been good, making sure we fed good. It's gonna be beautiful. You can have leavened bread again, so go ahead and get your Italian beefs and get this there. Your burgers for a feast is crazy. You understand? Go ahead.
Make sure let them know Sunday at sundown you can start having.
Yeah, at sundown, whatever region that you in. Unfortunately, our sundowns are like 7:30 now. You understand? But really, services don't start till 7 anyway. But we'll eat. We're all gonna eat good all across the nation. But go ahead, Papazza.
Verse 27. That ye shall say it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians.
When he what?
When he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed the head and worshiped.
You understand? These are the things that we're supposed to be taught in the Christian church. I don't want to say the Christian church. These are the things that we should be taught by the leaders of now. You understand? I don't want to say the Christian church because the Christian church ain't gonna do nothing good. But the black leadership of America for the last 200, 300, 400 years, these are the things that we should have been taught from the ages of young. You know, so we should have been taught the youth when we go to church on so-called Sunday or whatever. Hopefully it would have been Saturday. But we should have been taught these things from knee high. We shouldn't have to wait until the Lord opened a whole house specifically for the truth. You feel me? But because our black leaders are so disgusting and diabolical, it wasn't ever going to get brought out. And the Lord saw that. The Lord knew that. So guess what he did? He found a man named Albert Bivens. Albert Bivens, you understand, studied, found archaeology, found a history, probably had dreams with angels, you understand, and got the truth and the knowledge and passed it down to other great men that passed it down to other great men and made it a community and Hana, and now we have it. You feel my point? But these things shouldn't have ever been so hidden.
Right.
You understand? It should never been have to have people go out on the street corners again. It should have been just spewing out the walls.
Right.
But because black people want to love the so-called white man so much, and because black people want to become disgusting sinners and follow after every god and every custom on this earth, we had to wait. We had to wait. I would have loved if this was around the time of my foreparents. You understand? So they didn't have to go through what we went through. So slavery might have never even happened. You feel my point? But unfortunately, we have wicked dogs out there. We have disgusting bastards that only want to look out for themselves. Potts brought the scripture out last time during the round table of truth we were in Chicago. You understand? Isaiah 56:10. How the watchmen of our people are blind and greedy, dumb dogs.
That's right.
You understand? And that's one thing we can never say about our leader. He ain't a greedy bastard. Definitely ain't no dumb dog. He is there. I wouldn't even want to challenge him in the intellectual ballot. I believe a pretty intellectual about stuff, but I don't want him to go there. Not with him. You know, maybe with, car, but definitely him. Only joking a little bit.
Go ahead, God. So verse 28, and the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron.
Did it what?
The children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So did they.
Grab someone. Raj, grab Hosea 4 and 6. Go ahead.
Verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon.
That's crazy word. Man, you just in the dungeon, just not knowing what's going on at all, and then your son just y'all want to say to God that the Lord is just so loving and happy. He's so ruthless, it's insane. You understand? Like you say we don't have a heart. Man, the Lord can do things that you wouldn't even thought of. You saw in the movie. Go ahead.
And all the firstborn of cattle.
He even killed the cattle. That that's how he didn't only destroy the people that were our captives. He just was destroying their livestock that was going to keep them alive for future years. You feel my point? Like, you gotta think that's a lot of cattle. It's a lot of cattle. It's a lot of chickens. It's a lot of cows. It's a lot of, well, we don't eat pigs, but it's a lot of pigs that, be your garbage and your dumpsters. All your edible food, all your edible animals, at the rate that they give birth, it's a lot of animals. It's a lot of food and resources that just got yapped out the world. You feel me? Like, he just made sure that they all died, and then now they have to struggle with their resources even after all the kids just died. Go ahead. Right, Most High Christ. Like, I would like to see that first before the Shades go back.
Verse 30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. Verse 31.
You feel me? You want to know why? Because the Egyptians, the so-called Africans of now, they were not given the law, statutes, commandments of the Lord. Right. They aren't a part, and they can't serve the Lord. They weren't given instructions by the Lord. And so we can't try to intermingle them into now. Even then, he ignored all the Egyptians. That means not one of the Egyptians was given the instruction to put the lamb or the lamb blood on their door frames to save them. Why? Because they have nothing to do with God.
That's right.
They have nothing to do with Christ. They have nothing to do with the Bible. They are just a people that exist. They don't have a connection with the Most High. They are literally just servants. And they're servants unto who? Us. Right. They're supposed to be servants unto us. You understand? But because we want to be like them, we want to claim we're African, we want to run to Africa and Ghana and Nigeria and the Igbo or whatever. We want to run to all these different tribes of Africa and be their people and be with them and mingle with them. If we go down there, we get unalive, we get eaten. I've read stories where we get eaten. It's even more insane. We get smoke bombed, which they deserve that. You know, saying all the evil atrocities happen when we try to go join them in their country. You know how many tourists that are blacks go missing? I'm gonna Google it. Can someone Google that, please, for me? How many black people go missing in Africa every year? Or let's say black Americans. You might have to specify because it might be crazy. Let's see how many black Americans go missing in Africa every year. I feel like I'm gonna be underwhelmed right now, but I like the number. Bro, you looking it up?
Yeah,
we want to fight to be all these other nations so bad, specifically the Africans. I don't see anything appealing about being an African. I don't know if you guys do, because I don't. I've lived with Africans. Horrible experience.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, I have. Worked with plenty. Horrible experience. Pass them on the street. Horrible experience. To a point, like it's just a stench. We just moved an African out of our location where we work. Horrible experience. It's bad.
I don't think we can find that, sir.
Yeah, it don't pop up. Oh, you looking some crazy. Screw it. It's a lot.
Yes, so
It's got to be a lot.
I'm seeing 190,000, but then it says the exact number. They don't have.
So it gives an estimate.
190,000.
190,000
190,000 is what I seen.
go missing every year in Africa.
I think that's too much.
That's crazy work.
That's too much.
That would be way too much. That's like a quarter of a population. That's fine. They don't have statistics for everything. Because remember, they believe that we are them anyway. So, all right. That's what. Go ahead, Mabaza. I was just hoping.
Verse 31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from amongst my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said. Verse 32. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. Verse 33. And the Egyptians were urging upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. Verse 34. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their netting troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders.
All right, you can drop that, I believe. So I just want to show, what the real so-called Easter is. You understand? Easter isn't about bunnies laying eggs and us going around and dressing up in suits and ties and going on egg scavenger hunts and eating chocolate or whatever other nonsense they do. Go ahead.
They claim that it's supposed to be representing Christ's resurrection as well.
Yeah. It's definitely not about Christ's resurrection. I don't know how they even put the two together. You understand? It was Friday to Monday, right? He died on a Friday and rose on a Monday, or was it Sunday?
Well, I mean,
what they say.
If you count 3 days,
that's 2
Friday. Yeah,
that's 2 days.
Sundays.
Friday, Sundays, 2 days. That's what I was saying earlier. Thank you. You understand? They say he died on a Friday and rose on a Sunday, but that was the resurrection in 3 days. That's 2. That's 2 days. You don't count the day he died. You understand? That's why Christianity is just a farce. And from my point, and these holidays are one of the biggest reasons why Black people can't get out of the grasp that the white man has upon our minds. You understand? We can't get out of the Christian church. I don't understand the appeal of the Christian church. Maybe it's because this is full of women, but I don't see the appeal. As a child, I used to go all the time because they had fun. They had games and board games, and they had the women. Right. But for a grown man I can see why women now, because it's really just about women at this point. But the Christian church has always been something that's just diabolical. They don't do anything that the Bible says. They don't believe in the Bible. They say they believe in Christ, but look at the picture that they represent. You understand? But the same Bible that they claim to read shows you and tells you what Christ even looks like. Christ isn't a white-haired, blue-eyed, toga-wearing, 5'10" white boy. He ain't. Christ is probably like 6'5". You understand? He had woolly hair. You understand? Gray woolly hair, red eyes, and he looked like a mean nigga. You understand? Bronze, skin of burnt bronze. You understand? Anything burnt in the same way I like my steak. You understand? Is black. Right. And he was not a oh so loving character. Mm-hmm. Now I don't like what verses do they read where he was oh so benevolent? Like he was kind, he did his acts and healed people, whatever the case would be. But there are plenty of stories in the Bible where he was just I wouldn't say a menace to society, but he was a menace to people that were not doing right. Okay.
So like you said, they just misinterpret the things that we read as something when they misinterpret.
You're right. You're definitely right. You understand? Now, last thing, since we have a few more minutes left, I'm going to send IG this link. Oh, I'm about to pin something in the Roundtable of Truth chat. IG, can you grab it? I guess I have to notify everybody. You understand? Just to show you that the Christian Easter is definitely not with the Christian church either. They believe in Easter. They celebrate the eggs and the bunnies and the, whatever the case they got to do in the Christian church. But obviously, this is going to show that the Lord is not with the Christian church, nor with the pastors and the preachers that promote and try to idolize it either. You feel me? Was Easter this Sunday or was it last Sunday?
This Sunday.
Why is the story talking about he died on Easter? Oh, he did it early. You got it?
So for Easter, for their Easter, we'll be celebrating the Feast of First Fruits.
Yeah, good.
Good time, right?
So like you said, Easter is really just whenever a white man says it is at this point.
Oh, it's always been that. Yeah, all holidays are that. Damn, they about to start changing people's birthdays at this rate. I'm not saying to celebrate birthdays, we don't care, but that's a fixated date. But if they tell you otherwise,
They already tried to do something like that.
oh, you got the news break. I think I have news break. Well, let's see if I can do it. Should take a second. I got it here. All right, got it downloaded. Unless you got it. Okay.
Deacon killed in shooting at church Easter egg hunt in Mississippi.
Yes, and just like every holiday in America, people got to be unalive during the holiday. You understand? Name me a holiday where people don't get unalive. Name me a holiday. So that's the highest rate of unalivings, shootings, stabbings, poisonings that go on is during the holidays. I think, and that's just the Lord. That's just the Lord saying, no, if you want to keep doing this, you're bound to be like this. You're bound to be like that. The same way with drug dealers. What happens with drug dealers? They get shot or they get put in prison. Everyone knows that. They put in their own songs. You understand? You want to be in the rainbow community, you're going to get AIDS. You're going to get HIV. Monkeypox. Monkeypox? No, I haven't heard. Monkeypox.
It's bad.
That's wild.
You ain't heard of monkeypox?
I've heard of monkeypox, but I didn't know monkeypox was something that was given that way. That's crazy. Like I'm so disassociated with that lifestyle. I don't even know a lot of the repercussions. I just go to the bloodborne disease at this point. But IG.
A Mississippi deacon suffered fatal injuries in a shooting that broke out Saturday after an Easter egg hunt hosted by his church, according to the church and local police.
What a lot of people got to do with shooting up Easter egg hunts? It is that either there had to be an opposition type of aspect, but the fact of the matter is that it doesn't matter what event you're trying to celebrate in America when it comes down to the holidays. Violence is going to happen. Some form. It might be a brawl, it might be a fight, it might be a stabbing. Usually it's a shooting because that's the easiest way to get things done nowadays. But it goes to show the Lord's not in your church.
Right.
The Lord is not protecting you when you're in that mosque. He's not, especially when it's on a holiday. Nothing's ever happened with us, especially in the school building. You understand? I ain't gonna call it a church. You understand? Nothing's happened to us, nor will it, especially on a high holiday that we're reverencing the Most High. Right. You understand? But on these high holidays, these holidays that they celebrating, they ain't reverencing the Most High. And the one thing about the Lord is what? If we're not reverencing him, what's he thinking? The Lord is a what?
A jealous God.
The Lord is a jealous God. You understand? He gets jealous. Same way you get jealous if you ever see your John talking to another girl or another guy. You feel my point? You're gonna get jealous. The Lord is the same way, but when he gets jealous, things happen. Meaning people get unalive, people get hurt, you understand? People get arrested or whatever the case may be. He does not like it because it's one thing we should not do is celebrate, especially in worship, a God that doesn't exist.
Right.
You feel my point? It doesn't make sense saying, oh, this imaginary creature or being is more important than the God that gave you life. No wonder he gets jealous. I get pissed off too. Feel me? Like, just like your child saying, you not my daddy, I love my daddy over here, and he lives in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. If y'all remember that show. But go ahead.
Gone. Empowerment Ministries Christian Center, which describes itself as a non-denominational ministry located in the southern Mississippi city of Gulfport, identified the deacon as Eddie Shedd, who also served as its head of security.
Bad at security.
The church said the shooting was not carried out by anyone affiliated with its ministry, and Shedd was killed while attempting to intervene.
Oh, wait, so the deacon was shot, but the head of security was unalive?
The deacon was the head of security.
Who was the deacon? Who? Oh, I don't know where the logic goes. You don't put yourself. The head of security is the one holding the sermon because he's protecting so much. Okay, keep going.
Gunfire erupted at around 2:05 p.m. local time. The Easter egg hunt have been held in Gulfport's Jack and Florence Godine Park. According to the Gulfport Police Department in a news release, the department said a child custody dispute promoted the shooting, and the suspect reportedly brandished a firearm and opened fire, striking two individuals who are attempting to de-escalate the argument.
A child custody dispute. Oh, so probably a guy and a woman. I don't know. That's a crazy word.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Now that they let
That's what. Yeah.
a man and man adopt a child, and women adopt child. You never know these days.
Go ahead, Reggie.
Witnesses told CBS News affiliate WLOX that Shedd had stepped in to protect children in the vicinity once the shooting started. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The other injured person was airlifted to a hospital outside of Mississippi, said Gulfport police. They identified the suspect as 24-year-old Tyran Dion Gable of Saucier, Mississippi, who suffered gunshot wounds as well. Responding officers took Gable to a local hospital after the shooting. According to the police department, he faces charges of first-degree murder and aggravated assault and is being held without bond on the murder charge.
Again, saying the reason I brought this out is to show that it's to show that there is no sanctity in the Christian church, let alone the holidays of America.
Right.
You understand? We always want to believe it's about friends, family coming together and enjoying one another's presences or whatever the case, but it's really not. You know, we can write it off however we want to. The same way Black people always want to say, "Well, I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving because it's about the unaliving of the Native Indians. I'm doing it because I want to sit down and have dinner with my family." Or I'm not celebrating Christmas because of this. It's just I got the money now, and I want to give a gift to my kid. Or same with birthdays. Like, we're not celebrating his birthday really. It's just we're celebrating that he got to be here another year. The excuses we go to, the lengths that we go to justify the actions we commit to celebrate these holidays is insane.
Right.
I'm gonna say we will lie to ourselves, we'll lie to others, and we'll fabricate all these different types of stories. It doesn't matter what nonsense you tell yourself on why you're celebrating the holiday. You're still celebrating the holiday for the origins that it was created for, no matter what you do. No matter how far I go, or no matter how much you want to water it down about Thanksgiving, you are still celebrating the death of Native Indians. Right. It doesn't matter. You said, well, if I don't eat this turkey, well, is it no, it's not. There's 364 other days in a year you can get down with family and eat. Use your PTO, use a sick day. 98% of Black people lie to get days off anyway. Right. So go find a day to go be with your family. And even with family outings, family reunions, weddings, cause the most people die at those too. There's always an issue whenever Black people congregate. You want to know why? Because we ain't following the morals of the Bible. Right. That's the biggest problem. The day is basically irrelevant at this point. It's because Black people don't know how to love other Black people. That's right. And without the UPK, under Commandment Hana, we will never know how to be around one another with no arguments, no spats, and no death. The only time that ever happens is when we're at the Passover, or when UPK events or classes happen, and we're in the sanctity of our own homes in the UPK. That's right. You feel my point? That's what happened. I've never heard of a dispute or an arguing or a fight or a shooting at any UPK event. At least since I've been here, and that's 11 years in the making now. You feel me? We just had 2,000 people in that hotel room, in that hotel lobby, or not lobby, but the hotel ballroom. Not one dispute where anyone had to step in and intervene and protect no child. You understand? The only things we did was eat. Well, obviously, apparently, I was a mediocre lamb, and unleavened bread. Had some drinks, bought some merchandise, and then just kicked it. You understand? I was walking around the lobby, looking at these white folks like, what's going on? I'm gonna see white folk walk in like, the hell? You feel me? Because they had some at least in my hotel, the Cortland, they had some Christian church event. And they had an Air Force event. So all the white folks wearing their military uniform, all of us leaving the Cortland in our damn garments and things, they looking at us like we weird. But you weird, especially you nigga wearing that camo with the white folk. You weird. You feel my point? But that's how great the UBK is that we don't have the same nonsense that goes up on the Christian church. We don't have the same nonsense, deaths, the destruction. We don't got none of that. You know what I'm saying? This is the safest place on earth. And it's so simple. Just eat right. Just eat right. Just don't do drugs. You feel my point? Just don't be a disgusting bastard and let that man have the wife that he got. It's the laws of the Lord are so simple, it's insane. But Black people we just can't do it. I won't say can't. We refuse to do it. That's right. Because we're too happy. Or we're too content living the life that we believe is enjoyable, which we know all damn well. All these brothers in the world, they miserable. They're miserable. They have their kids, they have their wives, they have their husbands. They might even have millions. They miserable. Why? That's why that whole saying is out there. Money doesn't buy happiness. Because it doesn't matter what you bring into the table. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Nothing is gonna make you happy unless you are at true peace. And bring at true peace only comes from when you are obeying the laws and commandments of the Lord in the house of the Lord, which is UPK. So y'all done yet, something?
Yeah, kind of. If I could, I just want to kind of piggyback on what you was bringing out is the fact that some people may look at this story with this brother and look at him as a hero.
That's
you know
true.
What I'm saying? Because he was trying to help the kids or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But if he was really trying to help the kids, you know what I'm saying? Like he would be against them being taught about Easter,
right?
Or them celebrating Easter in the first place. When you don't have a moral compass, you know what I'm saying? Which is following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You put yourself in vulnerable positions for these type of things to happen.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're not giving anybody protection if you're not teaching them to follow the laws.
No, you're definitely right. You're man. Bringing Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians together under the guise of a sin is never going to be justifiable. Like he brought all the people to his church 90% of the time just to get bread, because I guarantee you he paid their tithes. You feel my point? Or they made donations to the collection plate, but also he brought them to his church to celebrate a day about another God that he claims that he serves ours or the one of the Bible. So he brought the people, the congregation, which are already wicked as hell because they in the world doing drugs, slinging this, doing that, to his place, which is the house of Satan, and expecting no crimes to go off. Like you just brought the gasoline to the fire. And then he gets unalived by trying to put out the fire that he just put the gasoline on. You feel my point? It's like an arsonist trying to put out the arson he committed, but dying in the arson. You shouldn't be. That's like a firefighter starting a fire, trying to put out the fire, and get reverence for trying to put out the fire when he died. No. You caused the damn issue. You are the only reason these people are unalive right now. Because if he never brought them to his church, like, no, that would happen. If he didn't bring them to the church for Easter. You feel my point? So Yardan is 100% right. What we need to do is we need to stop doing this Christian church nonsense. Get away from these holidays, which is absolutely just for stupids and children, which all children are stupid. So it's the same thing. But at the end of the day, we need to find the real morals. We need to find the real compass. We need to find where we got to go to. And the real place is right here. We talk to you every day from 7 to 9 p.m. in every zone across the earth. Right. You understand? 7 to 9 p.m. is the safest time in the city everywhere, as long as you in the four walls where we're teaching. Even if you're in your own crib watching class, you protect it. Think about that. The Lord ain't going to come while you watching the class in your own bedroom. The Lord ain't going to have someone walk into your crib and just and just end your life. You listen to the Lord's words. When you listen to the Lord's words, you're protected by the Lord's words. Right. Feel my point? Just watching classes is giving you at least 2 hours of protection. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Every 2 hours a day, you get protected. Turn that into 4. Turn that into 6. Turn that into 8. Turn that to 24/7 by joining UPK.
That's right.
Find your salvation. Find your protection. The protection only lasts here. No matter where, anywhere else, you playing with wolves. Literally. You understand? So with that, I'm going to pass the class to Priest and Officer Karkar.